the question window, do you see NinjaTrader charts or do you see a Segredo Quants background? Okay, great. The reason that I ask is thanks to a good friend of mine who's also a fellow shadow trader, he has given me an external monitor, and so this is the first time I'm using two different screens tonight. I don't know if any of you could tell this last week, but I was getting very frustrated because on my side of this webinar, if you have one computer screen, even though it might be quite large, and mine is, you can run out of real estate pretty quickly. So I appreciate all of you for sticking through that and not pointing out the fact that I might have been frustrated. And so tonight I come to you with more real estate. We have a great agenda tonight. I'm going to try to do some new things. I noticed a lot of you in the window, in the question window last week, were wanting to see some live stuff, and so we'll do our best to take a look at what the market will give us. You know, unfortunately, unlike the guy who does the webinars during the day, you know, when most of the market is trading, I'm kind of limited to what I can show you in the evening, and it's really kind of based on what's moving in the evening times. And as we continue to grow in this experience together, and as I continue to grow in my experience as a trader, you know, maybe we'll also open up some Forex windows and, you know, hammer some trades on that too, because, you know, ideally the concept is the same, the algorithm is the same, the patterns are the same, but as you know, a lot of markets, they act differently, right? Oil, super high energy, very erratic. You would find that to be similar with the Russell or the TF, as it's known. And then, you know, for those of you that trade the euro, it can be calm, you know, minus HFTs and news. It's trendy, you know, but it doesn't go, you know, against you in a trade or backwards or up and down in any particular direction, like 100 ticks within minutes. Gold can move quite fast as well. The gentleman that is letting me use this external monitor, he trades gold during the day, and he says that, you know, it's amazing that gold will go 50 to 100 ticks in like just some, you know, unbelievable time, like 5 minutes, and sometimes even less. So anyway, I'm glad to have this extra screen. I hope it's going to improve the quality of my teaching, and I hope it's going to improve the quality of your assimilation, you being able to receive this, understand it, use it, apply it, and reach your goals. You know, the reasons for you becoming a trader to begin with. So I'm real curious. Just type a Y in the window if you watched any of the videos. Could be one of them, could be all of them, but type a Y in the window for yes if you watched any of the videos that I shared with you last week. Excellent. Some of you, a lot of you did, some of you didn't. And now there's some panic. Which videos? In caps with extra exclamation points. I don't want anyone to panic. At the beginning of the class for quite some time, because I'm trying to develop a pattern as well, I'm going to, at the beginning of the class, you know, as part of my, quote, announcements and getting started with you, I will share with you the videos that I just referenced. For those of you that are new, welcome aboard. I'm real glad you're here. For those of you that are new, this is going to be a room where we focus on learning how to use the Segredo Quants to enter and exit trades. You know, it doesn't mean that we've forgotten any of the basics. It doesn't mean that we're going to forget about the shadow traders training, that we're going to forget about MACDs and STOs and 13s and 20s and HMAs and candlesticks and all of that. It just means that the Segredo Quants is going to be the sole focus of this classroom. So as questions come towards me, I'll do my best to answer as many as possible. If you put a question up and I don't answer it, it may mean that I'm being selective, meaning I might get to that question as part of my daily agenda, But if I don't get to that as part of the agenda and you didn't feel like your question was answered, what I'd like for you to do is ask it again at the end of the night or towards the end of the night. You know, that certainly won't offend me to ask it over and over again. Jerry, if you're not getting any sound, which this is ironic because you're not going to be able to understand what I'm saying right now, but if any of you are not, if you can't hear me right now, go ahead and log out and log back in. So back to the questions. Again, I'll do my best to answer them as they come at me while staying on task and staying on target and staying on agenda. I'm going to do my best to answer the questions as if I, Rob the trader's answering them, not Rob the proctor or Rob the coach or Rob the Wednesday night webinar leader. It's important for me to be able to relate to you. There really is no difference in terms of where we sit because we're both on the same path in trading. By no means have I arrived at some point at the top of the hill and I'm great and I get to sit in an ivory tower. It's nothing like that. I have a day job. I work from 8 to 5. And when I'm excited to get off and come home and watch the Japanese yen and figure out how to work out all of the things about me that are keeping me from reaching the goals that I've set in my trading path. And I have a feeling that that's the same with you. So there is no separation. We're all in this together. I say this week in and week out, the cool thing about this group is that every single one of us can help each other regardless of where we're at in this experience and where we're at on the path. Some of us are a little further along and that's great. And for those of you who are there, reach back, lend out a hand and pull the next person up with you. But each person is always qualified to offer help. And sometimes that just means helping someone stay on the path because this is an easy path to quit, to ignore, to set aside, to get completely frustrated at, especially when you have a bunch of nattery and bad opinion out there by people who have never, ever even played this game. So with that, what I'm going to do now is I promised that I would share with you the videos. Excuse me. So I'm going to type these into the chat window really quick. So it's going to be quiet for a second, but that's just because I'm typing in the links to the videos that I want you to watch. Here we go. Okay, everybody look in your window and just type a Y real quick if you could see what I typed. I want to make sure you get this. Awesome, thank you very much. Okay, here comes the second one. Okay, there's a video, or yeah, the second video. And pardon the misspellings. I won't be charging for misspelled words tonight. Great, thank you for those of you that typed yes in there. Okay, Bonnie, I see what you typed in. Let me type in this third one and then I'll read it off really quickly. Many of you are, let me address this really quickly. Many of you for the past few weeks have asked for my email address. I can't give that out at this point. If you need support from shadow traders, I always encourage you to send your emails to shadowsupport@shadowtraders.com. And if it's a Segredo Quants issue, you'll click on the help button on segredoquants.com and you can get help there. You know, the reality is that there is absolutely no way that I would be able to communicate with every single one of you in the way that I feel you deserve. At this point, I have this job that I work 8 to 5, and sometimes it means that I travel, and so I'll still be doing the webinars even though I'm traveling, and then I'm, trading just like you are in my spare time. So I can't give my email out at this time, but what I've told you at the very beginning is that once I get free of a job, I'd be more than happy to share that with you, because at that point I will have more time to communicate with you to the level that I think that you deserve. Let me type in the third video and the last video really quickly, and then we'll cover all of these for you, Bonnie. Okay, did you see the third one? All right, cool. Thank you. All right, so Bonnie, here's what we're talking about. There's 3 things that I want you to Google, and so for those of you that I'm reading this aloud right now, I want you to write this down as I'm saying it, just because I'm fine with covering it later, but since we're taking the time now, let's all make sure that we get this. On Google, I want you to Google the name Sean Gourley, which is SeanGourley, and the subject is high-frequency trading and the new algorithmic ecosystem. It's a talk that he gave. The guy's brilliant. The second person that I want you to Google, their name is Kevin Slavin, S-L-A-V-I-N, and he gives a talk called How Algorithms Shape Our World. And then the third one, you'll Google this person's name, Yan, Y-A-N, and then the last is Ohayon, O-H-A-Y-O-N, and he gives a talk on the impact of algorithmic trading. So, here's a question. Rob, why are you sending us these things? Well, we're doing a lot of talk about this quant, and for many of you, you've been hearing it talk about the quant now for about a year, and so here we are, and it's quant this, it's quant that, it's everything. You're going to start to see in the news more and more the subject of high-frequency trading and the subject of algorithmic trading. And what all this essentially boils down to is this, is in 2008, only 30% of the market trades were entered by robots or algorithms, programs. In 2012, that number spiked up to 73%. So my question for you is, where is this headed in the next 4 years? If the last 4 years look like this, going from 30% to 75%, what do the next 4 years look like? Essentially, also what it means is that 27% of us are entering trades manually using a mouse, using our minds to not only take a look at the charts in front of us, but to determine that whether we want to make the entry, and then to be courageous enough to actually do it. And then if you want to get technical, 3, we've got to enter it. Now it's going to go through, hyperspace, if you will. It's going to be received by your broker, and then you're going to get in. And in many cases, by that point, these algorithmic trading programs, they're already in and out. And oftentimes, your entry to enter the market is their exit. So you're buying in so that they can sell out, if that makes any sense at all. On the Sagrado Quant's website, there's lots of information about this. There's actually a cool graph from nanex.net or .com, I can't remember which, and it shows the progression from 2007 to 2012, the progression in the market of the HFTs, and it makes this pretty emotional looking graph. So, Elle, to answer your question, yes, all three of the gentlemen that I mentioned, they're all TED Talks. Franco, what is the monthly fee? The monthly fee is $100 a month, and I'm going to type in where you go to sign up for that in this window real quick. For those of you that are interested in signing up for the Quant, this is where you'll do it, and that will automatically give you a discount. For those that are not shadow traders, they pay more. I believe they pay $200, but that could have changed and I not gotten informed about it. George, no, we don't record these, so if you didn't show up the week before, or if you don't show up any particular time, you'll miss it. However, you're more than welcome to record it on your end, and I know that there are some people that do that. Okay, Franco, I typed up you're wanting the link to sign up, yes? So I typed up the link, it's in the window. If you look in your question box where you would type me a question, it's sitting right there where it says shadowtraders.segredoquants.com. All right, cool. So I hope that each of you take the time to watch these videos. You're looking at a maximum of 45 minutes. And I hope you take them to heart, because really, at the end of the day, you and I are the underdogs. We are the minority. However, Barb's creation of the Quant, it puts us right with these guys. That is, if you use it. So my goal is to help you understand more about algorithmic trading and how it affects you, and then how to use this solution called Segredo Quants. If we're actually, I don't know if any of you have thought of this, but this is not offered anywhere else. The Segredo Quants, it's not. Retail traders are not offered this. I have a friend who works for TD Ameritrade, and I said the word quant to him, and I had to define it for him. I said the word algorithmic trading, and he did not know what I was talking about. And he signs people up every day to become traders and open trading accounts at TD Ameritrade. Now, shame on him. He's kind of doing a disservice, but again, he can only be responsible for what he knows. So I've been sharing the Quant with him, and it's a lot for him to digest at this point, but just realize that you're the first to see something like this, okay? Let's take a look at my notes, make sure we're on track here. Keep in mind that all of us join this group initially more than likely as shadow traders. And what is a shadow trader? A shadow trader is not a fundamental analysis person. They respect the fundamentals, but they pay more attention to the technicals of the charts, the things that you see in front of you on your computer screen. Fundamentals is studying companies like Apple and studying their leadership and studying their P&L and studying all of the things in order to make decisions. We don't do that. Most of us don't have time, and it's just not a real sexy adventure. So what we've decided to do is follow what the big boys are doing, follow in their shadows. Well, when the Quant and when algorithmic trading came out, they left us all in the dust. Why did they leave us in, or how did they leave us in the dust? They created programs, and programs don't suffer from emotion, and they don't suffer from think when the moment shows up. They merely get in, because that's what the program said to do. And so they've moved pretty far ahead, but this program, Segredo Quants, that Barbara created, this shores it up. It gives you an advantage, and it puts you right back where you were, and you're right there with the big boys. Because what this robot, this Quant, if you will, is doing for you all day long, every day, is it is going out and it's looking at correlated markets, and it's giving you up to the second information that's accurate. Let's take a look at some questions. Oh, Keshov, good question. Am I a master of quant? No, I am not, but I'm on the path to mastery. So let's go back to my watch list. there's a couple things that in order for us to understand how to execute a trade, we need to know what we're looking at. So what I'm going to do now is just bring up the first component, which is to bring up a chart. And the way that you bring up a chart on here is you select whichever symbol you want for whatever interval that you want, and then you just click on it. I think I've already done that, and I minimized them. So here's my 5-minute chart for the yen, and here's my 1-minute chart for the yen. Now, let's break this chart down really quickly. The first thing we have are candlesticks, okay? Now just like on Ninja, when you see a red candlestick, that means that the price action is decreasing, and you certainly wouldn't want to go long on a red candle, okay? And then the same for the green candle. The green means that prices are increasing, therefore you wouldn't want to go short on a green candle. Right here you see the numbers. The numbering system goes from 1 through 8, but it doesn't always go to 8. Sometimes the cycle starts over earlier, and you can see plenty of examples of that through this trend right here, okay? Now, what we're going to be looking at, we're going to be looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s, okay, for our entries. 4, 5, and 6 means that the trend is continuing, and sometimes 6 means it's also ending, and 7 and 8 mean that you're now the trend is over, and you're looking at a gap close entry. This line right here is HMA. It's your trend line, and when it's green, you want to focus on going long. Over here where it's red, you want to focus on going short. The gray trend line is your fast-moving average. It's very close to a 13-moving average, but wouldn't mimic perfectly the 13-moving average that you have on your NinjaTrader charts. And then down below, of course, you have the time continuum, and you can move, using this adjustment right here, and then you also have the price on this axis. Another cool thing that you can do is you can adjust the amount of time that you want on here. So I can click on 1 hour, and there I can really get a good view of what this thing is doing. It's easier to see across when you're looking at this versus maybe that versus maybe that. Right? So oftentimes with my 5-minute chart, because it's my trigger chart, I'll keep it like this. All right? Now, the other chart that you can bring up is the oscillator chart. Okay? Now, what does all this mean? Okay, so the first time I saw this, I thought, that looks like a graph. I don't see how this could work. But now it's vital for me, and it really helps me make decisions. So let me explain this to you really, really quickly. The green oscillators mean that there's buying strength. Okay, there's buying strength, and you're going to want to take a look at going long. The red oscillator bars, that means it's selling strength. And so you're going to focus on taking short entries. Over here we have yellow oscillating bars, and you also see green numbers. So when you see yellow, what this means is there's a possible reversal. Get ready for a long entry. Okay? Over here, you see, and there's not too much of it. We could certainly find another example, but I think this is clear enough. The blue oscillator bars with red numbers, this also means that there's a possible reversal, and you want to get ready for an early short entry. So tonight, we're going to be focusing on take entries when we see the blue on red and yellow on green. And there's videos on the Segredo Quant's website as well to back this up if any of this is unclear. But you want to stay away from Christmas colors, okay? So you want to stay away from red on green. Let me see if I can find another. Yeah, and stay away from green on red. Oftentimes, too, you will see over here, see where that 1 is? There's a yellow oscillator bar, but it's a red number. All that means is sit on your hands and wait. You know, this whole game is about waiting. We show up, we turn our screens on, we get set, and we wait. We sit and we wait, and then it gets close, and it starts to do stuff, and we're like, oh, is it getting close? Is it getting close? But you want to wait. You really want to wait for the market to give you, make it give you exactly what you need to feel confident and certain to enter the trade. So again, tonight what we're going to look at in terms of the oscillator is we're looking for blue bars with red numbers and yellow bars with numbers. Now there's one more adjustment we can make. It's called the Segredo. And this is how I roll. I keep both the candlesticks and the oscillators on the same chart because I use them both. And on the 5-minute chart, typically we'll use a 1-hour view. Over here on the 1-minute chart, I'll use a half-hour view. Okay. So tonight, like I told you, in terms of what we're focusing on with the oscillators, what we're looking at is the perfect trade. And the perfect trade essentially is when the gap close continues, the price action is reversing, and begins a new trend. So as it pertains to the quant, what we're looking for is yellow and green, and then we want to see green HMAs, hopefully and more than likely, possibly crossing. Look at this beautiful entry right here. We have a 1, we have a green candle, we have a green HMA, it's crossing the fast-moving average, and if you look down below, we have a 1. I also like the slant difference between these two bars, and I like the fact that this trend line right here is also going up along with the HMA. All right, this actually happened 15 minutes before this class started. I wish that it would have lagged and drug out a little bit because I would have loved to have taken that trade. However, I did attempt an entry, and it left me behind. So, let's look at what we currently have on the yen and see where it's headed. Okay, so the price action's been going up for some time. This is a 5-minute look. All right. We know that what goes up must come down, so we're going to be patient and wait. We're already starting to see possible reversal on the 1-minute. Okay. Now I'll tell you, there is a concept of matchy-matchy that can be used in the Segredo quants as well. However, it's a little different than what you might hear from Melanie. You know, when we talk about the NinjaTrader charts, most of the matchy-matchy that we're looking at are based on colors. We want the colors to be matching, but we also want the trend lines to be matching as well. And over here, there's some truth to that as well. For example, let's go back to this moment where, 15 minutes before the class started, we had an entry. So that was at 7:15, and take a look at what it looked like over here. And by the way, on these charts, it's hard to get right side of the edge, so just bear with me. But here is 2019, 18. Here was the moment right here. And if you were looking at this and you saw green with a green HMA, the trend line's going in your direction. You see a yellow oscillator with a green 1. You look over here and you see, oh great. This oscillator has now switched. There's buying strength go long on the 1-minute. Its trend lines are also going in the same direction as is the HMA. And we're not in any danger number-wise. 5 is a safe number, right? And as we know from all of Melanie's classes, that these trends have more than one wave, and you saw that here. It lost momentum, it came back down, and then look, it went back up. Now it's probably finishing off. By the way, how's that sound? Let's do a sound check real quick. Good. Okay. Thank you. By the way, when I do trades in this room, I don't want any of you to enter the trade that I'm doing. Okay? The reason I don't want you to do that is I want you to pay attention to what we're doing. You know, I also have felt a similar urge. I've been in Melanie's classes. I'm like, oh, well, she's a master, you know. So if she's entering this trade, it's going to be safe to do that. I absolutely recommend that you be a student for a couple hours and then take as much time as you want after the class to drill what we talk about tonight. So some of you would like for me to turn my tooltip. The tooltip is a very cool feature. I'll show you what it does as soon as it loads in. Just get situated here. We'll put this back as we found it. All right, the tooltip is great. What it does is it shows you the time of the bar, it shows you the open, the high, the low, and the close, and the number sequence that it's sitting in. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it does it for any of the charts that you have the setting on. So Tom, you have a great question. How quickly do the numbers come in with the oscillator? Well, I mean, you're watching this real time. This is real time yen action. And they're, you know, the numbers come in and sometimes they change. And that's why we need to talk about the subject of fake outs tonight. You know, one of the cool things about the perfect trade is that you have plenty of time to enter. Okay? I'm using the 5 as my trigger chart. What that means is that I'm waiting to see what I need in this 5 chart in order to pull the trigger. I'm using the 1 as a lower time frame for matchy-matchy. Okay? So, sometimes these bars below, they change colors. I wish that I could mimic this for you when I show you fake out from last night. Unfortunately, there's no replay on the quant, because everything is coming to you live. But sometimes these candles change colors. I mean, pay attention to these as I'm talking to you tonight. Watch the change in colors. Watch how they move up and down. Watch how the numbers could change from a 1 to a 2 to a 0. So then that brings up the question, well, why don't I wait till the close of the bar? Well, trading is all about your comfort level. Some of you are going to want to get in. We'll just keep going back to this guy. Some of you are going to want to get in on the 1. Some of you are not going to feel comfortable getting in on a 2 or 3. But you can get in a 1 or a 2 or a 3, provided that the trend lines are supposed to go in your direction, that the colors are matching the direction that you need to go, and that everything looks good on your 1-minute chart. It's a little different than the clear trade where, Melanie talks about getting in on the first candle or the one closest to the 13 moving average. This is a little different. I like trading off of the 5-minute chart because I was one of those famous hackers in the jungle. I would watch this 1-minute chart over here, and I would just get absolutely neurotic. I tried to be a clear trader. I thought, well, that's easy. I just got to wait for the fist to break into a fan. Well, the entire time I'm just sitting there, and my stomach is in I'm waiting for the big explosion. And so when the fan would begin to happen, sometimes I wouldn't believe it. I said, well, maybe one more candle, maybe if it just goes a little bit more. And then I'd enter, and by that point, it's already, the first wave's already done, and I'm panicked. I don't want to lose any ticks, so I click out, and I lose 4 or 5 ticks, and that was terrible. But then it touches, and so on. So with this quant, what I recommend is that you practice being patient. Be patient. Wait for this thing to give you exactly what you need to feel confident and certain entering a trade. If you don't feel good right here, two shows up, you're like, oh, well, this is definitely, two comes after one, this is good, and you look up here and you like where the HMA is headed, and you like the fact that the trend line's still going in the same direction, and then you come over to one and you match up with that, get in there. But I would just say to be patient, part of the biggest part about avoiding a fake out is patience. It's being willing to wait. Pardon me a second, I'm just going to look at the questions. Okay, so Michael, this is I want to actually make a distinguish between two things. So Michael says, so you like the perfect trade because the quant shows that better than the moving average chart. What I'll say to that, Michael, is that the Segredo is going to show you more entries using its oscillator bars, using the HMA, etc. If we were to practice the perfect trade on the shadow trader charts, it's not going to happen as much to my liking, because on the Ninja Trader chart or the shadow trader charts, on the 1 and the 5 minute, I'm looking for absolute sync. I want everything to sync up. I want the stochastics to sync up. I want the MACD to sync up. I want everything to sync up. Where that doesn't happen as often throughout a trading session, but the Segredo Quant can give you more entries. Also, the Segredo can get you in a little quicker. It can get you in a little quicker. Tom, good question. What line is beside the HMA? This line right here, this line. This is called a fast-moving average. I wouldn't say that it's 13 minutes. I'm sure there's a particular setting, but from what I can see between this 13 and the 13 on a Ninja Trader chart, they're not absolutely identical. Okay, Rosemary, you asked, how did I put on the tooltip? You see this right up here? You can check that or uncheck it. Over here to the right, you can also change your screen from dark to light. I happen to like dark because I look at white screens all day long. So, what I wanted to show you tonight was how to do 3-tick trades. Essentially a perfect trade entry. And again, the perfect trade, I'm just going to repeat it. I keep showing a long example. I'll show you a short example, but I'm looking for 1s, 2s, 3s. I'm looking for yellow oscillators with green numbers. Up above on the candlesticks, I'm looking for the trend lines to be going in the same direction. That's the HMA and the fast moving average. And I'm looking for the color green. On the 1 minute chart, I'll show you what I'm looking for. I want matchy-matchy from this 1 minute chart in order for me to get in and feel comfortable. I want to feel comfortable when I get in a trade. Okay, I don't want to sit in the trade and be nervous and freak out and move my stop and move my profit closer to where I got in just to make myself. I want to know that this thing's going to go 3 ticks. So what I like, and this happens a lot, is you see here how the 1 minute also is going from yellow to green. Oftentimes what you're going to see is when you get a 1 or 2 or a 3 over here, the switch from yellow to green has just begun, and when you see green, that communicates buying strength to go long. And so that's when I know, hey, I feel comfortable with this trade, and I'm looking at these two move averages, we call them trend lines, going in the same direction as the ones over here. I'm good for 3 ticks. And that was clear. It went from 35 approximately to 45, so you had 10 ticks in there. Let's minimize this really quickly. I told you that I wanted to take a look at the market action tonight, and rather than staring at these charts all night and showing you what happened, let's take a look at what is happening. Before we do that, okay, so we got some time. This guy's going to be up for a while. We're going to become interested until these oscillator bars turn blue like these did, right? And it may not work out perfectly, but I'm hoping that it will. Now see, this has already done a couple waves. I want to see this guy go down and turn from blue to red, okay? I'm going to close these take a look at the dashboard.
When I look at the
When I look at the dashboard, I'm looking at
where's my
action, okay?
And the way
that I've been doing it,
for myself
lately is I'm looking at the sequences, okay? Again,
what
what numbers are we looking for to enter? Anyone type them in. Thank you. Good, Richard. Good, Bill. Good, Mimi. Good, Bob. Laura. Great. Rose. Scott. Tim. Noel. Okay, good. We got it. So you're looking for a 1 or 2 or 3. Okay.
So
if I go over here,
not
not that I would trade natural gas at night, but that's sitting on a 1. I might become curious about that and open up the chart. The second thing that I look at when I open up the chart is, where is it sitting? Well, it's a blue on green. Well, I don't do blue on green, and I certainly don't do it when the chart looks like this. If it's going to be blue, I want this HMA to be going down, and I want it to be red. So game over, nothing else to look at.
Did
everybody understand what I just looked at? Now, keep in mind, each of you is going to have your own pattern, but this is what I do, okay? I'm looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s, because that's where I enter. Gold has a 1, and look, the 1 minute is a 3. They're matching in color. That's interesting to me. So let's see what we have over here. Okay, so we have something building. Gold's been going up for a while, okay? It could be tuckering out. It looks like on this blue oscillator bar and this one right here, kind of made a little of an attempt, you know, but to get a better look, let's go ahead and build this chart the same way we did with yen. Minimize that. I'm going to do the same thing with my 1 minute chart. Because I'm not just going to up and enter it because the colors looked great or it was a 1 or a 2 or a 3. When I get 3 ticks, I want to be able to get them with prediction, okay? You know, I look at Barbara and I look at Melanie, and my opinion of them is that they can pull money out whenever they damn well please. I'd like to get to that level. But there's a certain regimen that we need to go through in order to get to that point. All right, so I became interested in gold. I actually have my numbers backwards. I thought that we were looking at a 1 on the 5 minute chart. Instead, we're looking at a 6 when it was a 1 over here. So we don't really have much because this is blue on green. This is when this starts to turn yellow and then it starts getting closer to turning up towards green, then we can be interested in gold here. I'm going to minimize that. I'll just keep these open, that way I don't have to keep rebuilding them. Okay. Rick says that the yen is moving, so let's take a look. I'm putting up the 5 minute chart on yen. Look. He's right, we've got some price action. Let's pull up the 1 minute. Okay. My only point of nervousness as I look at this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I like this. This is great. I would really like it more if this HMA were to cross, but I like the fact that this moving average right here, the fast moving average, is starting to bend this way. I like the blue on red. I like the fact that this is all red, it's going down. I like the fact that the price action is south of the HMA. Melanie gave a class 2 weeks ago that was masterful on how to trade using this as a primary consideration. It was fantastic. If you look at the 1 minute chart, and let's open this up a little bit, what we see is we've got the trend line going in the same direction. We're on an 8. What does 8 mean? For those of you that are using the quant, what does 8 mean?
End of the wave,
end of the cycle, end of the party, it's over. Yeah. So, if you're a gap closer, you're digging eights. You're excited about sevens and eights. When you see those, you're like, okay, my time is coming. However, we're doing a perfect trade, and we're waiting for a good entry. This could come back up. This price action could come back up, and that could be the end of the show. What would be even more ideal is if the price action comes back up and either hits the HMA or hits the 13 or fast-moving average and continues south, and then over here we're given a blue oscillator with a red number that says 1 or 2 or 3. So Rick, I think it was you that pointed me to this. Thank you very much for pointing us to this. We're definitely going to be interested in this and see how this continues to play out. There is another thing that I like about this in particular. It's been going up since 7:15, and it's almost 8:30 right now. So it's been going up for an hour. Is it more than likely that the price action is going to come down a little bit enough to give us 3 ticks? The more that you start to get familiar with this quant, the oscillators and everything, you'll start to see the repetitive patterns. Just like, Michael, thank you for this reminder. Melanie talks about how on the charts, you're a pattern trader. You're looking for particular patterns. You want to find the pattern that you're most comfortable with and trade it over and over again without variance. You don't want to change anything. If it's working and you're getting 3 ticks every time you pull the trigger, why not do that until you hit your goals? So now, when we look at the quant, it also has its patterns. But it tells the story in a different way. We're not looking at 5 different moving averages. We're not looking at pivots. We're not looking at fractals, etc. Denise wants to know, is my quant frozen? No, it shouldn't be. Perhaps it is. This will tell the story right here. It's moving a little slowly. Thanks everybody for your guidance on this. Let's pull this back up and see what we can, see if we have an opportunity. I think that we do.
Oh, but not that much. No, it's a big. It's got to come back now.
There's a lot of adjusting here. I appreciate your patience, everybody.
Okay.
I like doing these live.
Didn't turn my sound off. Hopefully that's not too bothersome to you. Okay, we're in. So I'm going to set this here. Here's the thing about perfect trades. Sometimes they move quickly and they can fill you within a minute and a half. And sometimes they take 3 minutes. So we just have to be patient. We have to wait this one out.
Yeah, Rory, you're right.
The reason that my Segro is slow is
because I have a ton of other stuff. I'm, powering this webinar with the GoToWebinar stuff. I have that running on my machine. I have the Segredo Quants running on my machine. I have the NinjaTrader running on my machine so that I have a dome to trade on. So, I'm looking forward to the day when I can have a computer that's so fast that none of this is even a factor.
Robert,
thank you very much. All right, so some of you would like to review in real time what we were looking at and why I entered this trade. Remember that my 5-minute chart is my trigger chart. The first thing that we saw when we were looking at the dashboards was we saw a 1. We became interested. It changed to a 2. And at the time, the 1-minute chart gave a number as well, and they were matching in color. So I got interested in that and I pulled up the chart. What I was looking for, let's keep the dome on top, was I wanted the HMA to be crossing. It hadn't crossed yet. Unfortunately, on the next bar, it had already crossed. But that was helpful because now we have the trend lines going in the same direction. And it was still within a 1, a 2, or a 3. But to make sure, before I got into the trade, I wanted to look over here and see, well, what was the 1 minute doing? And so we entered on this bar, which was 2030, and we had this. This was the bar that we entered on. Now this could turn out to be a fake out, and I'm going to explain to you why. This is going to be very interesting and frustrating all at the same time. One of the things that I've been noticing is that sometimes these trades, perfect trades, the first set of blue bars after the green bars cannot be the real deal, cannot be the real story, right? You can see it over here. That wasn't the real story, not yet. In fact, look what happened. If you were to get in to go short, that price action over there. Granted, I don't trade on the 1, but this is just an example. It wasn't ready yet. So then the price went up and up and up and up, and it went against you, and that would have honestly freaked me out as well. When it reaches about 6 ticks, reach my comfortable, I'm now uncomfortable. And I will typically exit that trade because it's easy to recover just after a few trades. So one of the things I'm noticing is it's better to, and Melanie talked about this a couple weeks ago in the NinjaTrader room, to try and take the ones that are closest to, that are not right after the green oscillator. What I was going to say is closest to the red, but you're not going to know that in the moment, right? So what I'm saying is this. It's okay to sometimes sit these out and let it go through whatever it's going to go through. Other trades are going to happen for you. Now, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, see, it's starting to get past my point of I'm not comfortable. I look at the minute chart, I see the HMA and the 13 going up. It's got green on yellow. I don't like this at all. However, it could turn back around on us. And it's good that we're actually going through this rather than showing you the perfect scenario every time, because you have to see what's actually happening rather than just the perfect scenario every time. I wouldn't want every single one of you to automatically think, well, there's a blue and a red, bang again. Melanie talks about understandings. There are other things in play that you need to consider. One thing we could do, if we're real curious, we can take a look at the 15-minute. As we're sitting in this trade determining, do I get out of this and then 3 minutes later goes in my direction and fills me? One thing that I don't like is the price has been below the 13. For most of the afternoon and part of the early evening, and then it finally crossed up above. I would feel more comfortable if all of this was south of the fast-moving average.
So would I. I do too.
This gives me a little bit of hope. So we've been in this trade now for 1, 2, 3, almost 10 minutes.
Before you enter.
Really quickly. So we already know we're in this. I'm just going to look at something. I'm going to look at some other charts and see if we can't find something else as well. Again, when I look over here, I'm looking for numbers. Since the 5-minute is my trigger chart, I'm looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s. Since this is a 6, there's nothing for me to look at. That's a 4, there's nothing for me to look at. That's the one that we're dealing with right now. Gold could be a possibility. Let's take a look at what we see. Gold's been above the 13 for a while on the 5-minute chart. Looks like it could be crossing over. What do we see on the 1-minute chart? I would feel better if I saw red oscillators over here than green. Green shows buying strength, could go long. So that doesn't look like a profitable entry.
Honestly,
All right, so let me pull this back up really quickly. All right, so over here now, a little more concerning. These yellow on greens are turned to green on green, which means buying strength. Possible long entry. And if you were to look at your ninja chart right now, more than likely you'd probably see a fist. I'll bet there's a fist happening. So let's take a moment here to do a quick poll. Who wants to see what happens if we stay in this? And just let it ride. I mean, it's a simulator. Okay, yeah, many of you say let it ride, just stay in the trade. Andre, welcome to the webinar. You want to know if there's any instructional videos on the Shadow Traders website, or do you have to subscribe to the Quant? If you're wanting to see videos on the Quant, Andre, you'll go to the SegredoQuants.com website and find the FAQ page, and there's videos on that. Doris, I wish I could speed it up. We're actually, this is live market action, but we're on a simulator. We all know what's going to happen the second I get out of this. Someone's going to be in Japan, and they're going to cause price action to go further south, and I would have been right. I mean, isn't that the irony of this whole thing? However, you got to manage as a trader. You can't just sit here and let it continuously go backwards on you. You got to preserve your account. You got to know what your barriers are.
For some of you, it's
going to be 4 ticks that you want your stop at. For some of you, it's going to be 6. For some, it's going to be 8. For some, it's going to be 12. And for some, it's even 20.
I know some people that trade
with a 20 tick stop, and that's totally fine. Why? Because
you're
in the driver's seat. This is your car, and whatever you're comfortable with is what you're comfortable with.
So some of
you are asking, where would you place your stop loss? You know, at 6, I start to panic.
I just start to panic.
So,
and
not literally panic, like, you know, start throwing things and, you know, all of that, but I start to get really concerned. So, oh yes, I have the dome on the other screen. Didn't realize that y'all couldn't see that. Barbara, thank you for reminding me about that.
Good question,
Mike. You want to know, is this the average market speed for this time of day? Yeah. And what I've noticed is that you'll get 2 entries, two perfect trade entries, sometimes even 3 in one evening session. What is that? You know, define evening session. So I get home at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, and I turn on my computer. And sometimes there's moves as late as 11 o'clock. So within a 5-hour period, you might have, you know, a couple good entries.
Heinz, you want
to know when I'm going to close the webinar today? I will close it at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Gene, when do I get out? See this limit order sitting right here? I'm waiting for this price action to come down and fill me so that it says 37.50 right there. So this is where I get out.
We're just
kind of letting this ride because
I thought
it'd be best for everybody to see
what this
trade feels like,
what it
looks like to have it being a possible fake out, and to see
when you're in these trades,
and they're not all equal, right? No market, no moment in the market is exactly identical to the last. Let's see how many ticks sometimes that this can go against you. I mean, I think it went up as high as 47. And it possibly could do that again.
All right, so for a moment, shall we take
a look at
the dashboard?
See if anything else is occurring, or do you all want to stick with this one?
See now, I'm looking at this trade. Well, the VX isn't trading at all.
Oh, is that what's that?
No, I have it sitting down on the left.
Is that his ninja there?
That's my ninja.
Your ninja of the Japanese?
The Japanese, yeah.
Oh,
it's a 200 there. 100
is that a 5?
Some
of you are now saying, please get out of this trade.
Got time wave. You have 200 support.
I'm
getting some futures and forex questions. Yes, you can use these this quant for forex entries. I'll show you that really quick.
All of these
right here are futures, with the exception of these 2, of course.
But you
have the forex window.
Tons of different symbols.
As you can see this. Lots.
All earrings
sitting here.
And then when you click on mirror,
this shows you the ones that are showing buy and sell at this point.
So let's go back to my watch list.
We'll see if we have anything on Aussie
dollar
dollar 7. So no, nothing going on. I look for 1s, 2s, and 3s.
On
the Euro 5, nothing.
Japanese yen. We have a green 2.
Gold.
Green
green 1. Let's see what we got here. Which just changed to a red 3.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. We might have something here.
Wait a second.
Let's take a look at the
Let's take a look at the
Oh,
1.
Look at red. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's gonna work. But it's tremendous. Too close.
Again, I'm looking at the one.
Again, I'm looking at the 1 for a confirmation. Kind of utilizing matchy-matchy, if you will. I still don't like what I see on the 1.
Who can tell me?
Who can tell me
When looking at gold,
even though gold showed,
a 3,
a 3,
we'll just go back.
we'll just go back.
Oh,
The 5-minute being
The 5-minute being the trigger chart.
we were interested
in this because we're looking for 1s, 2s, and 3s, and we're looking for blue on red, which here it's now a 4, but in the moment it was a 3.
But when we looked at the
But when we looked at the 1,
yeah, Tsemi have already answered the question.
Why
Why
wouldn't you have wanted to enter here?
to go short?
To go short.
nothing's matching. The numbers are
Too flat.
Too flat.
Good.
Good. There's still a chance it could go down. Red cross.
Christmas
colors. Fat. Christmas.
Three numbers, too flat.
3 numbers. Too flat.
Good.
Good.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right. So we'll eliminate that
So
one.
we'll eliminate that one.
And not that we would ever
trade
NG
NG at night.
But let's see
But
what
let's
it's
see what
showing.
it's showing.
We
We
blue
like
on red.
blue on red. So
We'll just wait.
we'll just wait. There's nothing to do here.
Nicholas.
Nicholas,
Isn't the 5-minute chart
your setup chart and using the 1-minute chart
for your matchy trigger chart?
Well, Nicholas, I use the 5-minute chart
to determine
to determine when I want to pull a trigger.
I use the 1 minute
I use the 1 minute
for matchy
matchy.
and
Matching and color matching and
the idea
if you will. Pull up.
By the way, we're
still in that trade.
Yeah, it's just it's a crazy trade. It's long in here. It made it.
All right, here's where
we're at currently on the quant. Let me show you the dome.
Again, the idea is
not to stay in this thing for the entire night.
And it's time for doing that. Maybe. I think
What do you think,
Oh,
folks?
you
What do you think, folks?
Do we think it's gonna
Do we think it's going to
hit that
go down
38?
and hit that 38?
Do we want to move
Do we want to move off it,
to get out?
target to get out?
oh, you got it. It's $50. Oh, now he's on zero. I thought he had
Can we see this 3 minute?
Can we see this 3 minute on 6J?
Get out while you can.
Get out while you can. Looks better now than it did earlier. Looks good. Stay with it. It's heading south.
5-minute reversing.
5-minute reversing.
Going to the 38.
Going to the 38.
No, you'll get it.
No, you'll get it.
Tick off it.
Take a 1 tick off it.
It's interesting.
It's interesting. So these are all the things that all of us are thinking in the moment. We're all in the same moment together, and it's so interesting to see, what everybody's estimate is.
got $12. All that for $12. Oh, you got
Jared in the house.
Jared in the house. Jerry says, take 5 ticks.
What we have earned
these 3 ticks. I do think that we're going to get it, or at least I hope we do. We have certainly earned this one. And, this was not ideal to show you. I think it was ideal. because it showed what can happen, right? I mean, I could show you perfect trades. It's better to do these together in the moment so that everybody can learn in the moment. All right. So we have 3 ticks, and we're now way to gold. Scott, thank you for asking this question, and I'm sorry I didn't answer it earlier. Scott wants to know, what does the plus sign mean under the sequence column? Let me show you what he's talking about.
I knew it was going to work, but
Right here, you'll see a plus sign or a minus sign. Plus means that there's a possible reversal happening. Plus means it's going long. And then the negative sign means possible reversal coming and to go negative. All right, so the idea tonight was to show you as many live trades as possible, and I keep glancing at this dash, and I'm not really given that much. Curious to see where this is at in its cycle, the Aussie dollar. You know, it is true that the currencies sometimes follow each other, and sometimes don't, right? I don't have the explanation as to why that is, but a lot of the time they do, especially this morning. You know, the dollar and the Japanese yen, they were doing very similar perfect trades within 5 minutes of each other. So, you know, I'm at work, I stare at this quant screen every so often, I log in, and if I see what I like between the 5 and the 1 minute of showing you the trade, then I'll write the price I think it is using the tooltip feature bar on a put. And so today the dollar, during the American market trading hours, the Aussie dollar and the GM were going side by side, almost perfectly in sync, and it was pretty neat to watch. So some of you were saying the sound is bad, the sound is choppy. What's probably causing that, when I build a chart, it's probably using up memory, and therefore it's cutting the sound out. Noel said, I got another 4 ticks in the simulator. Congratulations, good job. On 6J. That's great. Scott, what does the flashing yellow mean? I believe it's just showing that the update is happening over here. So every time you see this, you should see the time change as well. And it's updating the charts. So let me see if you want to see another fake out. You want to see the fake out that I had last night?
Yes. It's very important to see it.
This means that I'm going to have to show you the NinjaTrader charts. Would that offend anybody? Okay, I just don't want anybody to think that we're detracting. I do want to show you how to use this quant. However, quant doesn't have replay, and quant doesn't show you where I entered last night. So give me just a second, and I will find this for us. And what it'll do is it'll help illustrate why I was coming up with the rule of don't get in too close to the green oscillators or red oscillators. So I'm just scrolling back on my Ninja charts for a moment. Bear with me. Oh, this was funny. Almost there. Oops.
It's a bag.
What I'm doing is syncing up my 1 minute and 5 minute charts and putting them right side of the edge so that you can see what I saw last night when I entered. Okay.
It's just getting his charts.
Audrey, good question.
Audrey, good question. When you're using the quant, how do you determine if the price action is in a fist?
The way that I
determine it is if it looks like it went flat over a certain, an extended period of time. I'm guessing that more than likely, if I were to look at my NinjaTrader charts, that it would have been in a fist.
Tim wants to know,
am I in Chicago? No, I am not.
Thank goodness it is
Thank goodness it is very cold there.
No. Very, very cold.
Very, very cold.
Of course, not right now.
Of course, not right now, but
Definitely cold.
definitely cold.
All right, can y'all see the,
All right, can y'all see the NinjaTrader chart?
Yep, awesome.
Yep,
Okay.
awesome. Okay.
So what we're looking at,
is the Japanese yen tonight at 8:10 my time.
Okay, which is
Central Standard Time. Doesn't really matter.
This is what I
But
saw.
this is what I saw. Okay. Now,
and then here,
so by the way, this is the 5-minute on the left,
1 minute chart on
the 1-minute chart on the right.
So what we see on the 1
So
minute
what we
chart,
see on the 1-minute chart,
couple things. We
we see moving average crossovers beginning to happen. We know that because the 50 is slanted, that the price action more than likely is going to come down. No, the flatter that this is the easier the purchase through a moving average. But what I saw in the moment was 13 angling upward, HMA green angling upward, the 20 moving average was also angling upward. I saw this beautiful green pasture right here.
Then I look at
for perfect, I like to see the MAC when I'm going long. I like to see the MACD trending upward and not hitting the center line yet.
and also like to see
the stochastic
all go up
at the same time. Tell me, what's wrong with this picture?
Bam,
Bam, JK. First away. Runaway still.
Runaway stochastic.
Stochastic. Good job, Steven. Good job, Tim.
So
So what's the problem with a runaway stow? What it means essentially is that all this really means is that out of alignment. When you see this, it means not in agreement.
And what it really means is
that the price action is going to come back down until these three guys get back together and come back more in an action that looks more similar to this rather than looking at split hair.
I didn't look at that.
I didn't look at that.
I looked at
I looked at MACD. I looked at
the things up here.
I was over here. It's an 8-minute color change. It's just changed. Fantastic. The MACD is close to starting to trend upward. I should have waited for it to trend upward, but I liked what the stochastics here were doing. So essentially, unless all of this is not in sync and doing exactly what you want it to, you have no entering of trade. I'm just going to repeat for all of you, for all of your edification tonight. If you're going to do the perfect trade, and you're looking on a NinjaTrader chart, and you're going to use a 5-minute and a 1-minute, you want the EMAs to match, okay? Well, you're going to see that the 1 minute, that the 13 has already crossed the 20 and the price action is going towards the 50. Okay, but down below on these 4 panels, you want to see on the 5-minute this MACD trending upward. It's not trending upward right there. I had no business entering. Stochastics are trending upward, and they're going from the 20 line. They're aiming towards the 80 line, but they're not anywhere near it, so that was good. That means there's room, there's time. However, this MACD is not aiming upward. If you look here, we have the runaway stow. So, got in this trade. Let me just move this. And here's what happened.
The trade went down. Okay, so I entered here.
Okay, so I entered here. at 79.
When it started going down in
this direction, I made a determination that I thought it'd be good to show y'all what it's like when you get faked out and how to get faked out on a Segredo Quant. This one it gets me, 17 ticks at this point. The MACD still hasn't trended upward. The stochastics are still hanging out below the 20. Is it done? No.
It's going towards the S.
It's going towards the S. I think that was the S.
So now
48.
79 minus 48.
79 minus 48 went against me 31 ticks.
And I decided to just let it.
Continue to sit.
And at this point I thought,
well,
I'm just
going to earn their trade called Bubbleman.
I want to do this live.
I want to do this live ever. Okay, this is a
video
game move. This is not anything that you do, and what it does, it makes it easier for you to get into the profit when you have been negligent and allowed this to go against you for something today.
So now I'm in for two contracts.
2 contracts.
The HMA
still hasn't changed colors. We still see some divergence between the 13 and the 20. The MACD still hasn't finished.
Maybe that's how it's there's some cheap woman running in this line. Right. I understand. It's right in this.
Well, I don't know. I put down.
It's beyond shifting. He's
Take a trip down.
I'm away from the What did he say?
He says, okay, I will log out, log back in.
Oh, you mean you're he says
I asked him if he found my direction.
oh, they told him what to do. What'd you say? He doesn't know what to do.
Log out.
expensive. I don't think we ever thought about this though. He thinks you're actually learned, Mark.
Well, actually, a lot of people do.
He thinks you were a learned, computer savvy person. Wonderful.
You don't have to have patience in trading. It's a joke. Not.
Who's there? Computer?
Patience says.
Patient who?
Patience says.
Patient.
You should have time.
No time.
Patience says.
Patience what?
Patience ass. Patience. Like a that ass. Patience says. Not much to get. The lesson is you have to have patience.
Oh, that is funny, I guess.
It's a very metaphysical joke.
It's very
dry. This is what trading is like.
Such a fucker.
He's afraid to do that because he's afraid he can't get back in.
Because others have told him. Oh, this guy. What did you write?
Welcome back, Howard. Way too young. Not too young too. She's jaded. Papa Tom says no sound still going.
What?
He's saying no sound still going. Yes, he's come back, but there's no sound.
Is she listening?
No, Barbara has, he uses, he borrows her thing.
Yeah.
Communication lessons. These little chat things, even though Jeff's down.
What is it gonna do? Don't you think she just closes
The organizer has
ended the session, and this call will be disconnected.
No.
Goodbye.
This can't have ended.
And what happened is that it's okay. I can go back in. He has to. I guess he closed it out to get us.
He's gonna come back in.
Yeah, it's just that I have to. I have to log back. But I'll do that now. Log back in.
He might never get back in. That's what he was afraid of, wasn't he? Here's the tip.
So on the 5-minute chart, you can go back more than just a 24-hour period, but on the 1-minute chart, it only holds 24 hours of data.
Oh, I didn't know the 5 minute you can go back.
That extra with the data.
Did you know that?
Is it?
That's right. All right, cool. So
That's right.
That's
All
when
right,
we
cool.
close
So
out.
that's
When we
when we
next.
close out. When we go on to the next.
Japanese yens at a
Japanese
green
yens at a
red
green
5
3 with a red 5 on the 1.
Let's see what that would look like.
Let's see what that would look like. It's probably.
Yeah. Do we get in on trades with red?
Yeah. Do we get in on trades with red
numbers?
Oscillators and no numbers?
Anyone interested in that?
Anyone interested in that?
No.
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 Euro, we got a 1.
Euro, we got a 1. Let's see what we got going on here.
No way. Not good.
Christmas.
Christmas.
Green numbers.
Green
Red
numbers.
oscillators. Nope.
Red oscillators. Nope.
Aussie dollar.
Okay.
Aussie dollar.
If it's a good time. No, not right now.
More Christmas, right?
More Christmas, right?
Creepy.
Yeah, you know, Steven, I guess it is.
Yeah, you know,
true that
Steven, I guess it is
everything's
true
probably fisting at the
that
same
everything's
time.
probably fisting at the same
I'm a little
time.
nervous to open up Ninja.
I'm a
Some
little
of you are
nervous to
asking
open
see
up
the
Ninja. Some of you are
successful
asking to
trades
see the
and what that
successful
looked like on the
trades and
Ninja
what that
charts.
looked like on the Ninja charts.
However, I just don't know if it's going to cause the
However, I
sound
just
to
don't know
go
if it's
out
going to
again.
cause the sound to go out again.
Diana says she thinks the 6J
Diana says she thinks the 6J may be wanting to go down again soon.
Let's look at the 1 minute, see what the 1 minute's doing.
The 1 minute and see what the 1 minute's doing real quick.
Oh, 6J looks good.
Yeah, so check this out.
Yeah,
Here's
so
what Diana's
check this
looking at.
out. Here's what Diana's looking at.
The HMA has crossed.
The HMA has
fast-moving
crossed
average.
the fast-moving
Price
average.
action has been below the HMA.
Price action
It's now
has
coming
been
back
below
up
the
a little bit.
HMA. It's now coming back up a little bit.
I'm going to turn tooltip off for a second.
I'm going to turn
It's getting in
tooltip
my way.
off for a second. It's
Hope
getting in my
everybody's fine
way.
with that.
Hope everybody's fine with that.
But we've got
blue
on red going all the way down.
blue on red going all the way
What's cool
down.
is now we're at the moment where
What's
it's probably
cool
gonna
is now we're at
switch
the
and
moment
become
where
more
it's
like
probably
this
going to
over
switch
here.
and become more like this over
And
here.
that would be cool. That means it's going to continue
And
the
that would be
trend.
cool. That means it's going to
At that
continue the
point,
trend.
That would make us
And at that
excited.
point,
We would wanna
that
take
would
a
make
look
us
at the 5 and
excited.
see what the
We would
5
want
is
to take a look
doing.
at the 5 and see what the 5 is
Hopefully
doing.
giving us some blue
Because
on
hopefully
red
the 5 will be
when
giving us
that's
some
occurring
blue
on
on
the
red
1 minute
when
chart.
that's occurring on the 1 minute chart.
However, I don't think it's going to,
However, I don't think it's going to.
because it would still have to go across
Because
and
it would
turn
still
yellow,
have to
then come
go
up and turn
across and
green,
turn
and then
yellow,
turn
then come
blue
up and turn
for
green,
us to
and then
have an
turn
entry.
blue for us to have an entry.
Some of you are asking, what does the 15 look
Some
like?
of you are asking, what does the
15-minute
15
chart?
look like?
Let's take a look
The
at that.
15-minute chart, let's take a look at that.
I'm going to bust out with a new
I'm going to
drawing
bust
tool
out
really
with a
quickly.
new
Let's see how
drawing
this
tool really
goes.
quickly. Let's see how this goes.
From right here,
From right here,
it's kind of cool on the black background, doesn't
it's
it?
kind of cool on the black background, doesn't it?
To right here,
To right here,
It's gonna go down.
flat.
flat.
What comes after a fist?
What comes after a fist?
A fan. So
A fan.
while we look at this,
So
we're kind of thinking,
while we look at this and we're kind of thinking,
what does it tell us? That
what
there's
does it
gonna be
tell
some
us?
movement soon, right?
That there's going to be some movement soon, right?
That's good.
So that's
Now
good.
let me figure out how to
Now let me figure out how
erase all
to
this.
erase all this.
Let's turn this off.
Let's turn this off.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's what the 15
So that's what
looks
the
like.
15 looks like.
Back to the 5.
If we go back to the 5,
Yeah, I mean, you got a clear trade going south.
yeah, I
here.
mean, you got a clear
Essentially
trade
is
going
what that
south
is,
here.
right?
Essentially is what that is,
And I
right?
bet this matches up really
And I
nicely
bet
with the
this
1 minute
matches up
chart.
really nicely with the 1 minute chart.
Get a clear trade on the 5 minute.
Get a clear trade on the 5 minute.
Yep.
Yep.
Matching with a 2, which
Matching
is
with a
early on the
2,
sequence.
which is
And
early
look
on
at
the
that, it's
sequence.
early on the
And look at that, it's
oscillators. This
early on
shows
the
selling
oscillators.
strength.
This shows
Go
selling
short. So for you
strength.
clear
Go
traders,
short. So for you clear traders,
great place to hop in on the
great
5 minute
place
chart.
to hop in on the 5 minute chart.
But tonight what we're looking at are perfect
But tonight what
trades.
we're
So we
looking
were
at are
concerned
perfect
with
trades. So we were concerned
blue
with
on red,
blue
yellow
on red,
green.
yellow on green.
Let's take a look at something real quick.
Let's take a look at something real quick.
So David, you're asking a question about the
So
tooltip.
David, you're asking a question
Yes,
about the tooltip. Yes, the tooltip is at the top
What it
right-hand
does
side
is
of
it
the screen,
shows you
and what
on
it does
each
is
of the
it
bars,
shows
if you
you
scroll
on
your
each of
mouse
the
over them,
bars, if you
it
scroll
shows
your
the
mouse
open,
over them,
the high,
it
the
shows the
low, the
open,
close,
the
and
high,
then
the
number
low,
of the
the
sequence
close,
that
and
it's
then the
in.
number of the sequence that it's in.
I mean,
I mean, it has to be reinforced.
yeah, it wasn't bad.
If we look on our radar back here,
If we look
this
on
is
our
all of the
radar back
features.
here, this is all of the features.
And the reason that they're all lined up this way is
And
because
the
I
reason that
clicked
they're all
mirror.
lined up this way is
If
because
I
I clicked
unclick
mirror.
that,
But if I unclick
click
that,
again,
or
then
click
what
it
it does is
again,
it puts everything in
then what it does is it
alphabetical
puts
order.
everything in alphabetical order.
So some of you are going to get to the point
So
where
some of you are
you're
going to get to
feel
the point
comfortable
where
trading
you're
a
going to
few
feel
different
comfortable trading
instruments,
a few different instruments.
and you'll be able to go through here. I mean,
And
we
you'll
can
be able
just
to go through
practice
here. I
this
mean,
as
we
if
could
it were
just
a drill.
practice this as if it
Go
were a
through all of
drill
these buys,
and go through
right?
all of these
And look at
buys,
which
right?
ones are 5 minutes.
And look at which ones are 5
I
minutes.
see a buy and a red 2. That's
I see a buy and a
probably
red
not
2.
good.
That's probably
We
not
could
good.
take a look at this, for example.
But we could take a
even though
look
we
at
don't-
this,
we don't
for
get in on
example,
sixes.
even though we don't get in
So
on
we're looking at the
sixes.
fives
So we're looking at
for
the fives
1, 2, or
for
3
1,
in the
2,
sequence.
or
We
3 in
don't
the
see any yet.
sequence. We don't see any
Doesn't
yet.
mean that they're not there, though.
It doesn't mean that they're not there, though.
Let's look on the sell side.
Let's look on the sell side.
Believe this is corn.
Believe this is corn.
Haven't memorized all the symbols yet.
Haven't
Hello.
memorized all the symbols yet. Hello.
It's not looking too good.
No.
That's not looking too good.
Do we get on red candles?
Do we get in on red
Red
candles with the red numbers?
No.
No.
I get it.
Would really like to find something live.
Would really like to find something live for y'all.
I get it.
So it's 1 o'clock. I don't know.
Red. On red.
Red
It's good.
on red.
But it's not clear. It didn't cross. I don't know if he wants to do it. It's literally. These trades occurred like hours ago.
Oh,
Sorry for my pausing, guys. I'm really
Sorry
just
for my
trying to find
pausing,
some
guys. I'm
live
really
action
just trying to
for us
find some live action
we can
for us
simulate.
you're.
that we can simulate.
No, that's red.
No,
The reason
that's
we wouldn't
red.
take this is because it's
The
not
reason we
blue
wouldn't
on
take
red.
this is because it's
Blue on
not
red is
blue
the
on
perfect
red.
trade entry.
Blue on red is the perfect
Oscillators
trade
in the
entry.
yellow or green.
Oscillators in the
Yeah,
yellow
those of you
or
that
green. For those of you
missed
that
that part.
missed that part.
Yeah, I take the picture.
I hope this doesn't break the sound up.
I hope this doesn't break the sound up.
Very soon.
I've decided that before we
I
log off,
decided that before we log off,
I want
I want to show you on the Ninja Trader charts what
a lot of you are starting to look at this, and I'm
a
looking
lot
in
of
the
you are starting to
question
look at this,
window
and
right
I'm
now, so
looking in
waiting
the
for Ninja to
question
load.
window right now as I'm waiting for
And,
Ninja to load. And
there it is again. The sound's being affected.
there it is again. The sound's being affected.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to figure this out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to figure this out.
Sorry, y'all.
Sorry, y'all.
Okay. So
Okay.
Euro has a 2.
So Euro has a 2 and a 3.
So let's look at the Euro.
So let's look at the
That came in
Euro.
from Sylvia. Let's take a
That
look.
came in from Sylvia. Let's take a look.
Well, Euro is going.
Tonight we're looking at perfect trade entries.
Tonight we're looking at perfect trade entries.
We're on the 5-minute chart, which is a trigger
We're on the
chart.
5-minute chart, which is a
We see
trigger
red
chart.
oscillating bar
We
with
see a
red
red
number.
oscillating bar with a red number.
Do we get in
Do we get in
Well, no.
for a perfect trade?
for a perfect trade?
What do y'all think?
Well, we can't
What do y'all think?
That's okay, it's red.
No.
But you can't get that.
No,
I mean, you can't
no.
do
Yep, not for a perfect trade. That's right.
Yep, not for a perfect trade. That's right.
JK says that's
Yep.
for a clear trade.
JK says that's for a clear trade.
Clear
That's absolutely
traders,
correct.
You're looking
Clear
for red on
traders,
red,
you're looking for red on red,
and you're looking for green on green.
green on
means
green.
Buying strength,
Green
go
means
long.
buying strength, go long, as you can see here.
And red on red.
And then red on
Three,
red.
of course, being the latest you would want to
Three,
get
of
in.
course, being the
That'd be a
latest you would want to
sketchy
get in.
entry,
That'd be a
obviously.
sketchy entry, obviously.
Red on red is perfect
Red
for you
on
clear
red
traders.
is perfect for you clear traders.
Well, I actually haven't been because what
This is beautiful.
I said no.
This is
It's a
beautiful.
beautiful thing.
Well, do that.
It's a beautiful thing.
All right, so Sylvia, there's euro.
All right, so Sylvia, there's euro.
Let's see what the yen's doing.
Let's see what the yen's doing.
Similar action, right?
Similar action, right? I mean, look at this.
Let's see what the euro, Aussie dollar,
the Aussie dollar,
and the yen look like side by side
and the yen look like side by side
on the 5-minute chart.
on the 5-minute chart.
Get two sub-accounts.
Someday I'll enter the world's
Someday
fastest
I'll enter the
Segredo Quant
world's
chart builder
fastest
contest, and
Segredo
I'll
Quant
win.
chart builder contest, and I'll win.
Maybe you can say, okay, you don't need three different things.
Tim wants to know if I focus primarily
Tim wants
on
to know if I
perfect
focus
trades. The
primarily
answer
on
is
perfect
yes.
trades. The answer is yes.
I've drilled it over
I've
and over
drilled
and
it
over
over and over and over and
it's
over
the
and
one I
over
feel
again, and
comfortable with.
it's the one I feel comfortable with.
So as my dad would say,
So as my dad would say, in his
accent,
finest West Texas accent,
look there.
look there.
We have the Aussie dollar
We have the Aussie dollar,
and the
the
Japanese
euro,
yen all on 5-minute
and the
charts,
Japanese yen, all on 5-minute charts,
all doing similar
all
things.
doing similar things.
What's cool about this, right?
What's cool about this, right, is you just, if you're a perfect trader and you're waiting for your opportunity to do a perfect trade, we know that these red oscillating bars are at some point going to turn yellow. And we know that the numbers will start to go back towards 1, 2, and 3 on the new cycle with those yellow bars.
You'll want to wait. Try not to
enter the yellow bars closest to these. Really allow it to play out, and if it passes you up, it passes you up. But a lot of the time, it's really still kind of dilly-dallying, as Melanie would say. And allow this thing that's been going down for some time to take its time and come back up and give you a perfect entry. But wouldn't it be cool if
this one were to do it first?
And give you a great entry.
A couple minutes later,
And then a couple minutes later, this do the same thing. And then
this do the same exact thing.
There's 3 entries with 3 ticks per trade. It's 9 ticks. It's not a bad day.
I've talked to many of you.
I've talked to many of you about
just doing 3 ticks a day.
Doing 3 ticks a day. In the Shadow Traders course pack,
she shows you it's
all about building up contracts rather than doing more and more trades, subjecting yourself to a possible loss. Not saying you're going to lose every time, rather than subjecting yourself to a loss, why not just allow those 3 ticks to build up over time? At the end of 1 month, doing 3 tick trades on the Japanese yen, you now have enough to buy another contract. So now you're at 2, and then if you do 2 ticks a day, two contracts a day, getting 3 ticks per entry, logging off, doing whatever else you do with your life, and then after a month of that,